Hi, I'm Wei Min, and I have been representing global buyers of Manhattan real estate for about 20 years now. And now I would like to talk about land leases in Manhattan. And with regards to land leases, there are few properties in Manhattan with a land lease. I know if you're coming from one of the Commonwealth countries like Singapore, Malaysia, there are properties that are on leasehold and there are properties that are freehold. From that point of view, you can think of Manhattan being almost all freehold properties. Okay, there's very little concept of leasehold in Manhattan. However, there are certain properties that are on a land lease, so it's something like a leasehold. And the biggest example is in Battery Park, because the whole of Battery Park is from reclaimed land from the first set of World Trade Centers. And the land of Battery Park is owned by the Battery Park Authority. So the condominium owners or the property owners in Battery Park do not own the land. Rather, they actually pay rent for the land. And it's something that would get renewed. It's roughly about 60 years, and there's a master land lease and so on and so forth. But the point is that that's an example of a leasehold in Manhattan. Okay, so you have Battery Park, where the land is owned by a government entity. And then you have buildings here and there, scattered everywhere, where the land is owned by a private entity, a private family, and so forth. So those are the two scenarios where there are land leases in Manhattan. Okay, so let's talk about the first one. In Battery Park, there's a risk, but it's okay risk. It's structured, manageable risk. Why? It's because the land is owned by a government entity. So more than likely, it's going to get renewed when the lease expires, because it's going to be political chaos if the government entity says that we are not going to renew your lease and all you guys in Battery Park would have to leave, or you have to buy the land from us. That's very, very unlikely. That's the Battery Park scenario, right? So it's reasonable, it's a manageable, low risk. And that is why I got a lot of clients investing in Battery Park. On the other end, you have buildings here and there where the owners don't own the land. The land is owned by an entity, a private family, a religious organization or something. And there's a lot more risk there. And those are scenarios whereby you can see a one bedroom selling for $150,000. Why? Because the lease is going to be expiring in, let's say, the next 5 years. Right? So what's going to happen? The owners are likely going to have a major assessment so that they can buy the land from the landowner. The worst case scenario is that the landowner may say that I don't want to rent to you anymore, so you have to tear down the building. Right? So those risks are a lot higher and it's a lot riskier, and that's something that I wouldn't recommend to a client. So those are the two examples of land lease situations in Manhattan. I'd love to speak to you. If you're thinking about investing in Manhattan property, send me an email and we can schedule time for a chat. Thank you.